Hi, my name is Ishan, and my group made up of Nani, myself, and Justin created this app called Form and Function. So basically, what this app does is it takes an input for your current location, as well as your preferred style, as well as your gender, and returns possibilities of clothing that you could wear suitable for your weather, your current location weather. So the reason why we chose to do this app is because one of our members actually has an interest in fashion and in clothing, and as a result, we decided to try to do something that could make could fulfill the interest, and so therefore we worked on this lifestyle app. So now I'm going to just show you how our app works. So first of all, this is our actually main page, and what this does is for the user to input their gender as well as their preferred style. So before I move on to the next page after inputting your preferences and your gender, what I will do is I will try to if let's say the user doesn't input full the full the preferences, right? What will happen? So if you see here, we return error message below here, right? So now let me select female for our gender and smart for the style, and we can see what happens next, right? So it will bring us to our second page where we will show the location, weather, and temperature of the current location. So the user is required to input their current location. So let's see what happens if I were to input an invalid zip code of, let's say, 6. Right? You'll see an error message at the bottom to fetch whether we have a valid zip code to continue. And if I try to view all clothing based on the current invalid zip code, what will happen is that you'll return another error message. So now let's use the zip code of our current location and banner and try to fetch the weather. And you will see that our location, the weather, and the temperature, they're all displayed above here, right? So now let's see the possibilities of the clothing that the user can choose from. So it's just a small list, and we have like blazers and business dress, dress pants, high heels, and scarf. So these are just like possibilities that an individual can choose from, right? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to change up the preferences and see if you get a different database. So now let's say I choose male gender, and for style I choose street. So if you see, right, you'll see the second page is now refreshed all over again. Right, so let me just input our current zip code, and then I try to fetch the weather, and I'll get the same weather input. Now I'll view all clothing, and you'll notice that you get a different set of clothing, as well as you notice that we have winter boots in here because we have a very cold weather, right? So now what I'm gonna do is, so we're gonna input a different postal code right now of a location that is perhaps hotter and of a much different weather. So we're gonna put this zip code of 97086 to return the location of Happy Valley, which is currently raining at the moment, and the temperature is much higher at 52 degrees. So we want to see what are the different suggestions. So if you notice, based on the same preference and same gender, you get a different set of clothing suggestions, right? So you see we get t-shirts, flannel shirts, and you get sneakers, things that and as well as an umbrella for the rain. So you see we get different kinds of styles of suggestions based on the location that you are at, right? So this is actually just very basically how our app works, and let me just show you one last time, based on based on how our current zip code works, and then once again you see a very different set of clothings, right, from just now. So this is just a very simple understanding of how our app works, and basically how we split the work of this app was basically Justin and Nani actually worked on the JSON parser and as well as the UI skeleton as well, right? So for myself, I worked on the clothing database, and even though it's very, very small, as well as the general control flow of the whole app, so how the apps move from one page to another, throwing any exceptions, and if there are any errors, if let's say certain selections were not made, like for example the style is not chosen, right? So looking forward, we are actually looking at how different how we can improve our app. And actually, one of the improvements that we are looking at is about throwing random outfits. So, for example, based on your current location and your weather and your location, we'll throw maybe advice about specific clothing to wear. Second thing that we're actually looking at is looking at the color palette of getting users to input their preferred color palette, their favorite color, so we can give suggestions for certain clothings of certain colors that will fit each other to ensure that the user will get better get better advice with regards to their inputs, with regards to their current location and the current weather. Yep, so that's all for our app. And if you do have any questions pertaining to the app, do just ask us about that. If not, thank you very much.